Today we're going to be talking about the latest news that everybody seems to be talking about, and that is going to be the International Monetary Fund and its relation to QUANT and what this implies, what the implications of this news are. There is a little bit of miscommunication going on social media, within YouTube, and I just want to clarify that. I'm not a shiller, I'm not a fudder by any means. I just like the facts. So I'm going to lay it out how it is and what I think about the situation. If you have any disagreements with anything I say, let me know in the comments and I will reply. Before we get into that news specifically, let's take a super quick look at the charts. Of course, we want to look at the charts because we have had some crazy price action taking place. Of course, we are hitting some key resistance right now on the fib, on the 3.8235 or the 618, depending on which way you have your fib situated. I, of course, have it on both ends, my signature fib. Now, we were playing in this range for quite some time, and actually within the Alpha World group, Nodi made an absolutely amazing call on this. I hope you guys got in because it was absolutely phenomenal with a 72.23% gains on that, entering at 16,575, which is just down in this the bottom of our range here that we have marked up. So if you look here, this is about the range where we actually got in within the group. So 72% gains, absolutely unheard of. Immaculate call for Nodi Crypto. If you guys haven't checked his channel out, go check that out. But yeah, so we basically bought up this whole long right here, measured all the way up perfectly around 15-16% on leverage. Amazing trade. Now what we're looking at is we are looking at some resistance. Obviously we're hitting this fib and we're going to be lining up some more trades within the group soon, which is super exciting, guys, and I'm excited to get that going. We're going to have quite the ride coming up here, so definitely pay attention to the charts, pay attention to these upcoming channels that are coming up. They're going to be very important to trade, and we're going to be sniping up. We're going to be sweeping up some of this liquidity that we just made. So, guys, the charts are about to get really crazy. Keep up, okay? Keep up. Now, not too much on the chart. We're going to get into this actual news about QUANT and what I really think about it, because I think it's a little bit immature. What I mean by immature when I'm talking about this news is we have this article here by Cryptopedia, Gemini, and they have their own reputation, whatever it may be. The point that people are bringing up time and time again, this is an old article, I'll have you. This is an article that was brought up January 31st, 2022. So like a year ago, essentially. A year ago. And there's this single statement that probably got this article a bunch of publicity, got it a bunch of clicks. For example, QUANT's MLT technology is leveraged by the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, for use with CBDCs that are sent to and from and operate on many distinct blockchain and legacy-based platforms. Now it goes on to explain multi-ledger tokens, and some of this information is true. However, the problem with this is there's not a single source on this website. There's no sources that can be found. And to be clear, I have scoured the internet for any information or any proof that the IMF is leveraging QUANT Overledger. I have not found it. I'm going to show you what I did find. But, guys, to be clear, if you guys have found information that somehow can prove or relate the connection between QUANT and the International Monetary Fund, let me know. Put it down below. I'm happy to look at it, and I will reiterate. However, as of this point, there is no surface or mid-surface level information to be found that actually makes the connection that the IMF or QUANT are partnered, working together, being leveraged, etc. And so I think from the looks of this, it doesn't look good. It looks like this is a ploy to get this article clicks. And of course, down here we can see Cryptopedia does not guarantee the reliability of the site content and shall not be held liable for errors, blah, 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 blah. They're basically covering their butts. Makes sense. That's what people do. But ultimately, you can't trust everything you read. Maybe it was just a misinterpretation of the writer. Whatever it was. Like I said, guys, I'm not a fighter. I'm not a chiller. I love QUANT. I love QUANT. Go check my content. I explain why QUANT is so good. I love QUANT. I highly recommend. There'll be some videos at the end of this video that you should click on that will definitely give you insight on why QUANT is so good. But this information, sadly, I can't prove it. If you guys have some proof of the connection, let me know. So let's move on here and let's find the actual connection between the IMF and Quant. So of course we have posts from Quant that have mention of the IMF and the World Bank. So it says here from Quant Network, the World Bank and IMF News recognize Quant's unique Overledger interoperability platform that uses an enterprise API-based approach. Read the full report. So if we go into this report, which is right here, we can see, yes, okay, there is mention. So far, the notion of chain interoperability has seen much theory and little practice, primarily because a live example of successful chain interoperability requires not one, but two already existing stable and sufficiently powered blockchains to build off. But this is slowly starting to change. By Vitalik. Technology approaches. Technology, blockchain interoperability, seeks to achieve one fundamental goal, namely ensuring the integrity of both information exchanges, data exchange among business systems, and value transfers. Digital assets exchange, e.g. crypto tokens, internet protocols such as TCP, IP, and APIs have set good examples of achieving data interoperability. However, value transfer has been an application layer concern and not a protocol level concern in the traditional internet context. With blockchain becoming the internet of value, ensuring the integrity of value transfer across different blockchains has become a problem to address at the foundation layer and also needs to be considered at the blockchain network protocol level as well. In addition, there are attempts to create interoperability amongst different blockchains at the middleware level, e.g. blockchain agnostic smart contracts, e.g. DAML by Digital Asset Holdings, or Quant Networks, multi-blockchain dApps or maps. So there's a few other mentions within this paper specifically of Quant Overledger, but I've read it. There is no mention of leveraging, of actual use. They're just simply stating they acknowledge the existence of it and possibly the importance of it, which in itself is bullish. But to exaggerate that and say, yes, that they're leveraging it a little bit far. But like I said, if you guys have some more information that you want to share with me that maybe I haven't found, let me know. That would be great. But so I suggest anybody watching this video, go down to the comments, take a look, see if anybody has found that information, because that is of vital importance. I'm just trying to prevent the transfer of false information. I don't like that. And neither should you. And so also related on the IMF website. So I'm just going to read a couple parts of this article. I don't want to fill you guys with too much information. But digital forms of money are diverse and evolving rapidly. The opportunities are immense. But the challenges to policymakers are also stark, complex, and widespread, and most far-reaching implications are to the stability of the international monetary system. Digital money must be designed and regulated so that member countries reap the potential benefits. So what are we saying here? We're saying we have to be on top of digital money, CBDCs, so we can reap the benefits, including greater financial inclusion and more efficient payments across borders. Achieving these goals requires managing risks related to capital flow volatility and loss of control over monetary policy. International cooperation will be key to mitigating cross-border spillovers. Essentially, they're saying we are pro-CBDCs. We love CBDCs, but there are risks and we need to figure this out. How are we going to do this? And the other important bit in here that I'm going to talk about is this last paragraph here. Digitalization and mobile money are also rapidly transforming fiscal operations and policies through GovTech, an area of increasing IMF support to members. During the pandemic, governments accelerated digital delivery of key government services. Revenue administrations are increasingly using e-tax filing and e-payment systems and digital technologies to improve compliance management, helping to reduce tax evasion and boost revenue mobilization. Digital technologies are also improving the efficiency and effectiveness of public financial management systems and processes, including budget preparation and execution, cash and debt management, e-procurement, financial reporting and audits, and administration of social programs. In many countries, digitalization is also enabling improvements to governance and fiscal transparency, allowing citizens and other stakeholders to have access to information on government revenues, spending, and reducing opportunities for corruption. So essentially, they are saying, yes, we are pro CBDCs. We understand there are risks. It needs to work. Here are the benefits that we think are. going to help. This is their pitch, essentially. This is the public vision they want to see. But you also have to imagine, why else would the IMF want CBDCs? So this is important. If you guys don't know what the IMF is, this is going to make no sense to you. And I feel like a lot of people hear this news and like, oh, the International Monetary Fund. You know, that's great branding. That's great branding. International Monetary Fund sounds very official. And they are. They are very established. But to the average person, they don't really know who these people are. So why is this valuable? Why would it even be valuable if the IMF was utilizing quant technology Overledger? So I'm going to explain briefly what the International Monetary Fund is, and I'm going to do it very bluntly. The International Monetary Fund is essentially insurance for countries. That is how I see it. The International Monetary Fund basically has, I think it was 189 countries that are members of the IMF, and they pay a certain fee based on their economic conditions. So productive, strong financially country will pay more to the IMF to be a member, where weaker countries will pay less. And ultimately, they reap the benefits of if they have some kind of financial collapse, if they have some kind of emergency within their country, of floods, etc., any kind of crisis, the IMF is going to cover them. So basically, they're insured, and not fully insured as if they're getting a grant or something. It's more of they're offered money with low interest, so they can take out a loan. So they can take their loan, they can fix their financial crisis, then pay back the IMF later. So ultimately, IMF is kind of like an insurance company for countries. And so there's a lot of transfer of large amounts of cash, large amounts of fiat going between the IMF and these other countries that are going through these dilemmas, these crises. And what better solution to make more money than through CBDCs, through crypto, where it's ultra low fees, very fast transactions, etc., etc. So this is something they'd be very interested in. Now, obviously with large transactions as they would be sending and receiving, they need some kind of security. And so ultimately, working with a company that is run by people who are big in the security industry for finance, i.e. Gilbert Verdian, they would be able to have the security of using crypto to send and receive payments on a regular basis, saving them lots and lots and essentially making them lots and lots of money. So that is something to definitely keep in mind of how or why the IMF would want to in the first place. And the other thing is they clearly have their eye on digital money, on CBDCs, and they want it to work. Now, of course, guys, I did scour everything, and the only mention of the IMF on the actual Quant website, and I would assume if they were working directly with the IMF or the IMF was leveraging them, they would want to promote that as it would be very, very good for Quant, for Overledger. But it is not mentioned. The only mention of it is right here. And it says, this paper explores the use of blockchain and distributed ledger technologies operating in the semi-decentralized way as defined by the IMF, enabling a multi-ledger token solution to be integrated with any DLT or blockchain. This interoperability approach modernizes domestic payment systems to work with digital assets and enhances cross-border flows. So the only mention of the IMF on the actual Quant website is right there. Period. That is it. If you guys have found more information, let me know. I will make an updated video and I will set things straight. But as far as I'm concerned, at this very moment, is misleading, exaggerated information. And so I guess the gist of this video is be careful what you guys are absorbing for information. You know, obviously everybody's referencing this article. Everybody is referencing this article written by Cryptopedia and Gemini with zero sources. Where's this information coming from? We have no idea. They don't tell you. And they even have a disclaimer telling you that it might be wrong. So, you know, it is what it is. But guys, just be careful what you're absorbing. There's a lot of false information. There's a lot of shilling out there. So guys, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to be updating Quant news as much as I possibly can. I'm going to be updating it here. There's going to be even quicker news, obviously, on Alpha World if you guys are in there. Otherwise, you can come here and you guys can see the latest news on Quant and a little bit of chart action. So yeah, I will see you in the next one.